My name is Daniel Carter, and I never believed in ghosts, spirits, or anything people called paranormal. For me, fear was just chemical reactions inside the human brain. I always believed that every unexplained thing eventually had a logical answer. That belief made me reckless, confident, and dangerously curious. I often mocked people who claimed to see shadows or hear voices. To me, they were victims of stress and imagination. Until the night I received an email that completely destroyed my reality. The email was short, emotionless, and strangely direct. It offered $5,000 for staying inside an abandoned mansion for 3 nights. No explanation, no company name, and no personal introduction. Only a set of GPS coordinates and 4 strict rules written in bold letters. The money felt unreal, too easy for something so simple. My mind screamed caution, but my financial problems silenced my logic. Against my better judgment, I accepted the offer. The rules were disturbingly specific and deeply unsettling. Do not leave the house before 6 in the morning under any circumstance. Do not open the basement door. No matter what you hear, do not respond to voices. Even if they sound familiar, if you ever see yourself standing somewhere inside the house, hide immediately. Each sentence sent chills down my spine. But I convinced myself it was just part of an elaborate experiment. At exactly 2:11 a.m., my car stopped in front of a massive iron gate hidden deep inside a forest. A thick fog wrapped around the road, swallowing everything beyond a few feet. The mansion stood behind the gate, dark, silent, and impossibly enormous. No lights, no movement, yet something about it felt painfully alive. The air itself seemed to vibrate with anticipation. Before I could turn back, the iron gate slowly opened by itself. That was my first undeniable warning. As I stepped onto the cracked stone pathway, the temperature dropped instantly. The mansion's windows looked like hollow eyes staring directly into my soul. Each step toward the front door made my heart pound harder. The silence felt heavy, predatory, and deliberate. My breath formed faint clouds in front of my face. The door creaked open before I could touch it, and the darkness inside welcomed me like an open grave. Inside, the smell of mold, dust, and something metallic filled my lungs. The hallways stretched endlessly, twisting in impossible directions. Old paintings lined the walls, their faces violently scratched out. Every footstep echoed far louder than it should have. The air pressed tightly against my skin, making it hard to breathe. Cameras blinked softly from every corner, and suddenly hidden speakers crackled to life. A distorted voice whispered that these rules were the only thing keeping me alive. It said the house had been hungry for a very long time. It warned me not to trust my senses. It warned me not to trust my memories. And most disturbingly, it warned me not to trust myself. Before I could ask a single question, the voice disappeared, leaving behind a silence that felt alive. At exactly 2:17 a.m., every clock inside the mansion froze simultaneously. The temperature plummeted and my breath turned visible. The mirrors darkened, turning into black reflective voids. A faint whisper spoke my name directly into my ear. My entire body stiffened in terror. I spun around, but the hallway stood empty. Yet the presence behind me refused to fade. Slow, heavy footsteps echoed from the upper floor. Each step sounded deliberate, patient, and searching. The rhythm was unnatural, perfectly spaced and controlled. My heart pounded so loudly I feared it would give me away. The footsteps stopped directly above my position. Then silence returned, thicker than before, and something began to breathe. I locked myself inside the nearest bedroom, trembling violently. Moments later, soft knocking echoed from the hallway. Knock, 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 slow, gentle, and disturbingly polite. The sound vibrated through the wooden door. My body froze, unable to move or speak. The knocking continued for hours without pause, until exhaustion dragged me into unconsciousness. Morning brought no comfort, only temporary relief. The mansion looked unchanged, but it felt angrier. Every shadow lingered just a second too long. Every sound felt amplified and distorted. The air vibrated faintly, like distant machinery. By evening, dread sat heavy in my chest, and I knew the second night would be far worse. Near midnight, the basement door began to pulse outward, not opening but moving as if something inside was breathing. A deep rhythmic thump echoed from beneath the floor. It sounded disturbingly like a massive heart beating. Each pulse sent tremors through the walls. The vibrations traveled directly into my bones, and fear flooded my veins. My phone camera suddenly activated without any input. The screen displayed a live feed from inside the basement. Standing at the bottom of the stairs was me, but its eyes were hollow and lifeless. Its smile stretched beyond human limits. It raised its head slowly and whispered, "You're already dead." Panicking, I ran blindly through the mansion until I collapsed near a hidden door. Inside, I discovered dusty videotapes scattered across the floor. Each tape was labeled with names and dates. 17 different people, none of the recordings extended beyond 4 days. Their final messages were filled with terror and despair. They all warned about the same thing. One woman sobbed that the house was not a place, but a trap between realities. She said it fed on fear, regret, and emotional pain. Another man whispered that the basement led nowhere and everywhere. He claimed something ancient lived beneath the house, something older than time itself, something endlessly starving. His final scream still echoes in my nightmares. That night, the walls began to bleed. Dark red streaks slowly crawled downward like living veins. Shadows detached themselves and slithered across the ceiling. Countless faces pressed outward from inside the walls. Their silent screams vibrated inside my skull. I could feel their agony inside my chest, and then the voice returned. It told me the house existed between seconds of time. It trapped broken souls and consumed their suffering. It showed me visions of my brother's death. It showed me my guilt, my shame, and my regrets. It said I was perfect to replace it. It said my pain would keep the house alive. And then the mansion began to collapse. At 5:59 a.m., doors dissolved into the walls. Floors melted into black sludge beneath my feet. The basement door burst open, revealing endless darkness. A skeletal hand wrapped tightly around my ankle. Its grip burned like ice. "Stay." It whispered lovingly, but I fought back. Using shattered glass, I slashed my own leg and crawled forward. Pain blurred my vision, but terror fueled my strength. The darkness screamed as the house tore itself apart. The walls twisted violently around me. The air shattered like breaking glass. And suddenly everything stopped. At exactly 6 a.m., the mansion vanished. I woke up 30 miles away, lying in the forest. Doctors couldn't explain how I traveled that far. There were no records of the mansion anywhere. No satellite images, no history, no ruins, no explanation. But every night at exactly 2:17 a.m., my mirror fogs over, words slowly appear from the inside. We are still inside, sometimes. My reflection smiles back, sometimes. It whispers my name, and sometimes I feel something breathing behind me, waiting.